Just before we get into the podcast, I'm going to ask you to do me a favour and hit subscribe. Why am I asking you to hit subscribe? Well, it's because more people like you will get to hear the content and they will then be able to build their coaching business just like you. It's nice to be nice, isn't it? Thanks for listening and subscribing. Hi, everybody. I have Susanne Mueller with me today. Hello, Susanne. How are you?
Hello, very good. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good. You're in New York.
Yeah.
I am in really quite horrible weather, Edinburgh. How's life in New York today?
Well, it's getting busy because it's the holiday season, wrapping up the year, starting the new year. So it's always a busy time in New York. New York is always busy. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So you're on the podcast because we're about going from crap to kick-ass coaching. And your story is about marathon running, as far as I can tell. Now, how many marathons have you run in total?
So I completed 26 marathon races so far.
Wow, which is just incredible. And over how many years was that?
Oh, that's a good question. The first marathon I started in 1993, and the last one was probably 2015, I want to say. So yeah, good span.
Cool. And what was it that got you into marathon running in the first place? Because it's led to your coaching career, and I want to kind of work out the marathon bit first.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, so I grew up in Switzerland where and I always brag for after school programs, we went skiing. We live like 30 minutes away from a relatively good ski resort. It's not very well known, but at least for us kids, it was fantastic skiing in the Alps. Nice. And then fast forward, I moved to New York with the airline. I was working for the airline. And I hate to say, skiing in New York City, for example, is not a good idea. And then also if you go upstate New York, the snow there is not the same as in Switzerland. It's icy, it's cold, it's much colder than in Switzerland. Right. So I actually gave up skiing for running. And because Central Park in New York is kind of like the lung, where you rejuvenate, there are the trees, the birds, and the wildlife. We have bees, we have the fireflies, we have the raccoons. It's kind of like where I rejuvenated from my busy day-to-day job at the Swiss mission to the UN, the airline, and then at Nestlé. So that got me into running. And then one step led to the next step. So I did one of the reservoir, the Onassis Reservoir, and then I joined a running group. And there they said, why don't we have a goal? Talking about coaching, why don't we have a goal and we complete 4 miles? And this is kind of like my marathon, pre-marathon days. Right. Oh, it was December. It was cold. It was kind of rainy. And I was like, oh, I don't like this. And there was this little hill. It felt like Mount Everest. And I was ready to give up. This was probably 3.5 miles into the race. Okay. And I look over and I see a person in the wheelchair. And when I saw that picture, I said to myself, if this person can finish, I can do it too. Yeah. That was my start of my running. And then 4 miles led into 10K, half marathon. And then I was just ingrained in the circle of friends. Let's do a marathon. I was like, all right, let's do a marathon. Why not try it out? So then after one marathon, you don't give up. And these were the serious days. And I was running in 15 times in New York and 3 times in Boston and a few others. But yeah, it was fantastic.
That's incredible. What was your fastest time?
3:36 in Boston.
That's so impressive. Wow. Yeah. Wow. God, that's amazing.
I know. I felt like I had an outer body experience there. It was just amazing. The stars were lining up. It was fantastic. And Boston is a difficult marathon with first a downhill and then the Heartbreak Hills where you have 5 miles, like good 4 miles uphill. So not an
Wow.
easy task to do, but
Not at all. And at what stage did you take that experience, that training, that learning into the world of coaching?
yeah, I think it's in my daily life. I mean, I was actually studying at Columbia University, and September 11
Oh,
happened in New York.
goodness
And this was
me.
my last semester of my master's program. And it was very hard to
Mm,
concentrate. So the running was helping us, probably the whole city of New York, to get through
mm,
those difficult times and supporting each other. And then I needed to find a job where they sponsored me for the visa. Again, the running is like, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. And then fast forward, I lost my job. And again, that was helping me to be disciplined, forward
mm.
thinking, optimistic, because you cannot cry when you run. I
No,
tried that when we did the marathon after September 11th, and I was like,
right.
I cannot run when I cry, so
No.
stop crying. So in a way, we always say running is the best therapy. We don't need
Yeah.
a therapist. You go with colleagues, with friends,
Mm,
and it's the accountability piece that is so important. We would meet 6 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday morning, rain or shine, it was still dark. Every Thursday we would meet, and these were probably the best runs we had together, and talking about life and supporting each other. And also, these are lifelong friends.
yeah. Yeah. So all of those elements you've described, being outside, being in nature, having a community, building relationships, having a clear goal and purpose, those are all the elements of the Japanese philosophy of ikigai, aren't they?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and I never even thought about running or marathon running as being part of that, but it absolutely
Mhm,
is.
mhm,
And as we know, the studies now that, there's no doubt at all that it's that outdoors community,
mhm,
purpose-led relationship stuff that keeps us young, fit, and healthy.
mhm.
You know,
And happy, and
and
happy, I would
and
say.
happy, and it's not complicated.
No,
It's not
no.
complicated. So what do you do now that you don't run or run marathons?
I think my marathon days are over. I was just
Okay.
watching the New York City Marathon. I'm in awe of the people who run that fast. I met the fastest Swiss guy a
Wow.
day ahead of the marathon. He was fifth overall, and he was so nice. So, in a way, the running community is a very humble
Mm,
community. And for me, I need to run. I always
yeah.
say, you don't want to be around me when I cannot run because I
Right.
get antsy, I get a little crabby, and I'm not happy with myself because then I'm sitting too much. As you know, sitting is the new smoking.
It is.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I try to complete 500 miles, 750 kilometers per year is a goal for myself.
Yeah.
And this year in 2025, I was not able to complete it because I was sick the first 3 months, like coughing, coughing, coughing. So I also have to kind of like reflect as a coach, even me
Mm,
as a coach,
mhm.
is it worthwhile to push harder, or is am I okay not to reach that goal this year? But usually I
Mm,
run every other day. I like to do yoga,
mm.
swimming, biking. I don't do so much anymore, but just being outdoors. And yeah, I think it's being outdoors for me is the most important thing. While because in coaching we're so many times inside, so my goal for coaching would be to go with a person outside, but
Yeah.
that's not always possible.
Yeah, that was my next question. How much of that
Mhm.
do you get to do in New York? You know,
Outside.
walking. Yeah,
Oh, always,
outside.
all the
Oh, do
time. New York
you?
is such a walking city. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
even the coaching, you get to do that outside as much.
No,
No. Hmm.
no, the coaching
Yeah,
is inside, and
yeah.
you want to focus on the person. You want to be with them on the
Mm.
Zoom. I do all of my coaching sessions on the
Ah,
Zoom.
okay.
So
Okay.
you want to be present with that person because if you're, let's say, in a coffee place or outside, you look around, you see something. This is not real coaching. You
Mm.
want to be with that person and meet the person where they are.
Yeah, you do. Now you have a really successful podcast as well. How many episodes in are you now?
So my podcast is called Take It from the Iron Woman because I'm a woman, but I did the Iron Man triathlon distance. I have more than 515 episodes so far. And I have people from around the world and people who went to Antarctica and also the North Pole. So I have people from everywhere and also different languages.
Oh, that's amazing. And is that something that's out weekly, fortnightly?
No, it's weekly. I used to
Weekly.
start with 2 episodes per
Did you?
week, and I was
What?
like, "Ah, this is a bit too much because
Yeah.
I also do the editing myself,
Do
even though
you?
I don't edit so much. I think I have good guests who have a compelling message, so we can
Good.
just leave it as is. But I like to interview people and get their story out so the world can learn something with the people.
Yeah. And without the marathon running, do you think you would have become a coach anyway? Hard question to answer, I know, but hypothetically.
I think so. I was
Okay.
actually reflecting, and in second grade, I don't know why, the teacher said to me, "Why don't you go with this boy? He was from Italy to teach him how to read better." So why did she pick
Oh.
me? And I always like the teaching aspect in a way.
Mm.
So I think the coaching was just a natural thing to do. And actually, a neighbor of mine said to me, I heard of this Columbia coaching they start. Why don't you look into it? So she actually gave me this hint of why don't you check it out? And then also, my boss at that time, probably he knew that my job would be eliminated. He paid for this glamorous coaching school.
Oh,
So it's
that was nice of
one of
him.
the yeah, it's one of the most expensive coaching programs.
Crikey. Wow. Wow,
I was
that's cool.
lucky. I was lucky.
Yeah, that's amazing. So
Mhm.
who are your clients? What's a typical client?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's people from all walks of life. I like to people who are creative, people who are open to change
Mm.
because we know change is not so easy. So some of the people are not so open. So we have to
Mm.
kind of like break them out of their routine, out of their comfort zone. I have people, mostly executives, people who
Yeah.
are in the business or people who start their own business. I think just everybody and anybody who needs a little kick, as you also say, because I think that's the most important. You need to kick somebody a little bit, and then it's
Yeah.
the accountability piece that's sometimes missing. And even if we use AI, we get everything under the sun from AI,
Mm.
but then do we get that accountability piece?
No, we do not.
I
No,
don't think so, but
no, we
I'm using AI and I'm not afraid of AI.
no, no, I think that's sensible. If you're afraid of AI, it's like being afraid of email or something like that. It's
Yeah.
here, it's staying. We'll adapt and find the best ways of using it. We'll make some
Mhm.
horrific mistakes, obviously, because we're human beings. But in a few years' time, we'll look back like we did with email and the internet and things like that and go, how did we manage without it? It'll be one of
Mm.
those things, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like you say, it's never going to replace the human to human relationship.
Mm.
It can't because it doesn't have emotion or energy or
Mm.
anything like that. But I think it's like everything. It's a useful tool.
Mhm.
And like all useful tools, in the hands of idiots, it's a bit of a disaster. But in the hands of good people, it's great.
Yeah, I was actually in a webinar and there they said the better content we feed into the AI, the better things come
Yeah,
out. So it's almost like a healthy diet. The healthier you eat, the healthier you become. So I
yeah,
want to make sure I feed AI with the good stuff
I
that we all
agree.
have and that we can take advantage of really good stuff that is out there.
Well, I'm feeding it my Italian homework questions.
Oh, that's a good
So
idea.
yeah, so when I'm doing my Italian homework, I don't cheat, but there are odd words that I have no idea what that word is, and I look it up on AI, and it's very good.
Mm.
It's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tired of being a lonely coach? Well, Don't be alone any longer. Join us at tricrest.com, TRICRES.com. Find all the models, frameworks, PowerPoints, tools you're ever going to need as a coach, help on marketing, selling, and position yourself as a coach, plus a lot of other great kick-ass coaches are in that community. We'll see you there, TRICRES.com. Bye.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So, and I do ask it, what's the weirdest question you've asked AI?
Me?
Mm.
I don't know. I focus on leadership.
Oh, do you?
I don't think I went there. No, that's a good question. What could I ask?
I've asked it all kinds of strange questions about spirituality and the universe and all kinds of weird and wonderful things just to see what it comes up with. And I test different ones to see the different types of responses I get. It's quite interesting. There is a huge difference between them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I actually used it in a way, maybe not funny or crazy. We translated my book, 50 Shades of Lipstick Leadership, into German. And there, the translation came out like bada bing, bada boom. Like within one day, AI, my friend, translated 280 pages.
Wow.
But the German book actually is longer than the English book. But then we still had to have an editor and refine it and correct, because there were some words that were funny or some of it didn't feel right. So I think it's, even if people say, oh, we can write a book with AI, not necessarily, because there were the feeling and the sensing part that was actually missing in the translation. So it was just very direct, but actually very good, and the real German, not like the Swiss. We sometimes use different words. So I was actually very impressed. First of all, by the speed and by the accuracy. So I was very happy.
I love the title of your book. Tell me about that.
So it's 50 Shades of Lipstick Leadership. And actually, I took 50 stories from the podcast. So 50, I have to admit, maybe a little naive to think it's going to be easy. I take 50 stories from the podcast and make a book out of it. Well, if you speak, it's not really a story. And some of the stories were 6 to 10 pages. And then I had to condense them into 3-4 pages and make a real story out of it. And then I had to send it to the people. Is this the story you like? Then to the editor. And then again, there was a friend of mine who says, oh, if you make money, can I make money too? And I was like, but I did all the work. So we had to also send out a legal document, like I own the rights of the video, of the book and everything. So there was a lot of great learning until the book came out. So it took almost a year to produce that book. And then we translated it into German, and now it's there available. So it's a huge success.
Oh, I love that. Congratulations. It's a great title. And so I'm guessing it was all female leaders, their stories that you were telling.
Yeah, so it's all female leaders, and the lead stories is basically the 100th episode with Glitter Glam Girls. So there were 10-year-old CEOs who produced greeting cards during the pandemic times. And I felt like this is such a cool story. And I used, my topic is lifelong learning. So the book is all about learning, listening, leading. And I have the 3 chapters and women. And when I flip through the pages, mostly these are women who are CEOs or want to become CEOs, aspiring CEOs. And I think especially in today's times, it's important to have an uplifting book when the world is a little grim, let's put it this way. So we need to have stories of women who have done something important and meaningful and who can inspire and motivate others.
Yeah. Now, I've been thinking about this thing about the world being grim, and I have a little theory about it, Susanne, in that I think if I think of it like the Earth's crust, like the outer crust is grim because that's what we're being fed constantly. Because the algorithms know that they get more clicks, more likes, more responses when they make people angry. So that's what they feed us.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, just right below the surface, there's you and I, your clients,
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
friends, your family, the people you meet on the street. 99.9% of them are brilliant, lovely
Mm-hmm.
people doing
Mm-hmm.
great things, great work, building communities, supporting each other, um, and actually have a really nice outlook. But that doesn't bubble up to the surface because it doesn't sell newspapers, clickbait, adverts, you know. Actually, I think the world's in a great place if we just ignore the outer crust.
I couldn't agree more with you. And that's why I think you and I, we have a podcast, we
Yeah.
inspire others. I've written books, and yeah, we just have to keep going. I always say it's one step at a time, one day at a time, and in the right direction forward. And I think it's us who have to motivate others and uplift them when they are in a hole in a way, or if they're
Yeah.
just listening to the news and
Yeah.
just consume. I think it's we need to pull those people out and say, hey, let's go for a walk and
Yeah.
look around and see the changes of the leaves or the colors. Or I think it's just that's our role. At
Yeah.
least that's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. And it doesn't take much, does it? It's the
Mm-mm.
simple things. I'm just reading a book at the moment called The Well-Contented Gardener, and it's written by a psychiatrist actually.
Oh.
So she draws on a lot of peer-reviewed papers and things like that. And it is about the simple things of growing a plant from a seed, and how it reduce and just there's things in the soil that physically reduce anxiety and depression,
Mm-hmm,
enzymes or
mm-hmm,
bacteria. I can't remember the exact detail. And it makes perfect sense. We've become so
mm-hmm,
disconnected from the natural world that it's not a surprise to you or I that people are anxious and
mm-hmm,
depressed.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And when you say, well, look, why don't you go and do some planting or go for a walk or
mm-hmm.
people think it's too simple.
Mm, yeah,
I think a lot of people look for a complicated solution,
yeah,
don't they?
yeah, yeah. I'm with you in that. It's the simpler, it's the better.
Yeah.
And as I say, that in the simplicity lays the complexity. So you can do something simple, but then you can get into that cycle that it can be complex. And I think it's also been to go back to that ikigai that you mentioned.
Yeah.
They say gardening is important, being outdoors. And I always say the weeds are telling you some stories. They're actually the strong plants that are here and they survive, even though we don't like them so much.
Yeah.
But we can learn something from them. It's about surviving, even
Yeah.
in difficult times.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it really is. So where you've written a book, is there another book coming out or what's next?
Ah, that's a good question. So in 2026, I always have plans. Obviously, I like
Okay.
to plan out, I like to learn. We're 2 years away from the Olympics in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And since I have the theme of marathon running, my topic will be get fit in 2026. So we have 2 years to get fit for the Olympics. And it's not so much about the running per se, it's more about the from couch to a 5K for
Mm.
leaders. So what does it take? And every kilometer mark, we have an activity to get you to the finish line, or I will have programs in a 5K,
Yeah.
because in a 5K you have to go a little faster. So we have to pick it up, and that's where the laser coaching will be happening. So
Nice.
what I'm anticipating is people they come with an issue that they have. We solve it quickly, we get them up to speed. And then other programs will be a 10K where you can ease into the tempo a little bit. So we meet maybe every other week. And obviously we have a marathon program and an Ironman program.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So
before we came on this call, Susanne, we were talking about when this is going to release. I'm releasing this in January because that is the month that everybody says, right, I'm going to get fit. What's your top tip for people who are going, right, I'm making the change? What's your top tip for helping them get it to stick?
Yes. So obviously we know the gym memberships, they go up in January, people go twice and then they don't go anymore.
Yes.
So that's why now I do a little promo for myself, sign up for my classes in February and come with me because we start in February. So in January, you can get your running shoes, get a nice outfit for yourself and start the planning and don't overwhelm yourself. And we all have those watches or gadgets where we measure our steps, count the steps, what you do on every single day, and tally it up. And when you come to my class, we want to see. I had a client and she said she does like 200 to 400 steps on any given day. And I said to her, how is that possible? Me just going to the bathroom, I have at least 700 per day without going outside. So I didn't say anything. And the next time we spoke, she says, I have 1,000 steps because of you. And I was like,
brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
I do not tell people what they should do.
Good.
We just look at the data. Again, we can use AI, whoever is into AI. We look how many steps you do per day. When are you doing them? Whatever. And then we can project. And I always say, why don't you, and let's say in New York, go and get your coffee, maybe not just around the corner, but walk 5 blocks. So then you have already, let's say, 500 more steps. So trick yourself, get a reward, and come back and you're happy. I did 500 more steps today. So I think it's those little things that can change many things. And if we add every day 100 steps, it makes a huge difference. And 7,000 steps is basically a 5-kilometer walk run. And this is not that much. So start to count your steps and make sure you get to 7,000 and then you'll see. And I know with the weather, it might sometimes be difficult, but you can also walk around in your house. Why not?
You can. I choose to have dogs. So I have 2 dogs, which isn't always possible. I realize that where people live. But that's what gets me out. And years ago, my old dog died sort of 12 years ago. And he died, I think he died in the April or May. And it got to October and I thought, if I don't get another dog, I'm not going out all winter. I will be indoors all winter. And I thought, I need to get another dog.
We need to get a dog.
Because you have to go out. When you have a dog, there is no choice. Come rain, shine, snow, sleet, whatever it is, you have to go out and walk your dog. Otherwise they don't forgive you. They're not very happy with you at all. No,
but also when you have a dog, you go out in any kind of weather and actually you stay healthier, I think, right? You have less of a cold or a cough or whatever. I think it can help. And same with the running, actually. I was a running coach for the New York Roadrunners. And even in minus temperature, we would go out and I was rarely sick in those days. So I think the more you go outside, the less you get sick.
I agree. 100% agree. So we're on a mission, you and I, to make sure that everybody knows the world is actually a really nice place and we haven't all gone mad. It's only the top layer that's gone mad and what we're fed. And that actually the message here is keep it simple. Baby steps was what I heard there. Don't go off at full pelt in January going, I'm going to run a marathon. Baby steps and just get outside. Just go outside.
And we can actually start a little game. Go outside, take a picture because everybody is on Instagram, likes the picture. Go outside, go 500 steps from your home, take a picture. Tomorrow you go 600 steps, you take a picture, and then you have already an Instagram post, right? So we need to trick ourselves a little bit. How does it look like where you are?
I like that. I like that. Okay, my last question, Susanne. Thank you so much for your time. My last question is, if you only had 12 months left on this planet in your current form, would you live the next 12 months differently, or would it be pretty much the same as what you've got planned?
If I only had 12 months left, I would travel the world. It's almost like what is the movie, The Bucket List? I would have a bucket list and go to foreign places, enjoy, and don't give up. I might live more than just 12 months. That would be my push to myself. And I'm like, I don't want to give up. I have many more years to come. I think that's that marathon mentality, because you think there's no finish line. Obviously, we all have to go at one point, but I'm not ready yet. I have many more plans and places and people that I want to visit.
My favorite story of that is the guy from America was given, I don't know, 6 months to live. He had lung cancer. He moved back to his home village in Italy. Can't remember where that was. And he lived a very long and happy, healthy life for the next, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And his lung cancer cleared up. With no medical intervention. That is not medical advice, okay? Anybody out there?
No.
I'm just telling a story. But yeah, I think that reconnection with people and nature is so important, isn't it? Where's the top of your bucket list, Susanne? Which country would you go to, or city, or place?
I've always wanted to go to Australia and New Zealand because it's far away and it's long. But I feel at home in South America. So I would love to go to Argentina, Chile, Patagonia, maybe something like this. Something a little bit out of the ordinary, because I used to work for the airline. So I've traveled Paris, London. I studied in London. So something a little exotic, I think, would be on my list.
Your job then is to send me a photograph next year from wherever it is you find yourself and
I
tag
certainly
me in it.
will.
So I know you've been. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Susanne. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you got true value out of it. And if you did, what would be lovely is if you could leave us a 5-star rating. Why 5-star? Well, that helps the algorithm. And as we all know, the algorithms rule the world. So if you've enjoyed it and you've got value out of it, give us a 5-star rating so other people can enjoy it too. Thanks. See you next time.